everyone, I am back today with a video on how I use Dr. Bronner's soap. I discovered Dr. Bronner's soap a number of years ago. One of you guys actually recommended it to me and I started buying it. I loved it and I've been using it ever since. I typically buy this size 946 milliliters. I believe this is about 32 ounces. There are 8 scents available, including the baby unscented, which happens to be my favorite one, but I also like the lavender, I like the peppermint, and the almond. I'll usually just buy whatever's on sale. This size bottle retails for between $19 to $22, I would say, and one of these bottles lasts 5 months for me with the dilutions that I'm going to talk about next. This is an 18-in-1 soap and it is a Castile soap. This soap is cruelty-free and I believe it's also vegan. This is called an 18-in-1 soap because Dr. Bronner's touts that there are 18 different ways that you can use this. I don't think I use it 18 different ways, but I do love this soap and use it for a lot of different purposes. There are also different dilutions depending on what you want to use the soap for, but I found that for my own purposes, I just use a very simple dilution of half Dr. Bronner's soap and half water. I don't really measure it or anything, but it works out to be about half and half, and I use this dilution for everything that I use Dr. Bronner's soap for. I'll take an empty foaming hand soap pump and I'll fill it about halfway with Dr. Bronner's soap. Then I just fill up this foaming hand soap pump with regular water, and I just use water from my tap. I put the top back on the soap pump and then I just shake it very gently to combine the soap with the water. That is all I do, and I use this dilution, the soap from this soap pump, for a variety of different things, which I'm going to talk about in this video. The primary use for this soap is, of course, hand wash. It's in a hand soap pump. It's in the kitchen and in the bathroom, places where you have to wash your hands all the time. Very quickly after starting to use Dr. Bronner's soap, I realized that it is amazing to clean makeup brushes. I have gone through so many different cleaning methods for makeup brushes. I see them on YouTube, I try them out, and invariably they don't really work for me. Off the top of my head, I can remember some concoctions containing oil, which was a bit strange. I think it was to keep the bristles from drying out, but it was just very difficult to wash out. I've tried dish soap and shampoo. I find that with especially the big dense brushes like this one, the bristles would just trap so much of the suds and it would take forever to wash it all out. I don't think I ever really washed out all of the soap when I was using either shampoo or dishwashing liquid. But now that I use Dr. Bronner's soap, because my water at home isn't all that soft, the suds don't last very long and they are super easy to wash out. Not only that, but even with the brushes that have tons of pigment in them, like this one, and also this one, which I use for like a very pigmented blush, it is so easy to wash out these brushes. And you can tell, especially with the MAC brush, because the bristles are white at the end, the Dr. Bronner soap does an amazing job of washing out all of the pigment. Because once I'm done washing this brush, it literally looks brand new. Whereas the other methods, I never really washed out all of the pigment. There would still be like a little bit of light pink remaining, but it never got as white as it does with the Dr. Bronner soap. For my bigger brushes, like my blush brushes and my powder brushes, I use around maybe like 2 pumps of soap, maybe like 3 half pumps, something along those lines. And that is enough to wash all of the pigment out. I demonstrated with this one how much pigment is in this brush. You can see like tons of pigment just like in the sink being washed out of the brush. And I typically don't wash it a second time, but I wanted to show you with a second time how the brush was pretty much completely clean with just one wash, because you can see the suds coming out from the brush the second time were essentially white. So this is amazing to clean makeup brushes, and it's also great because it works so quickly that you don't have to spend a lot of time with your hands in the water and your brushes in the water. It's just like a 10-minute job now, whereas before it took me quite a bit longer to wash all of my makeup brushes. If you don't need to or want to wash them all, you can wash one brush and it takes all of 30 seconds, not even. The other thing that this soap and this dilution works amazing for is to clean makeup sponges. This is a beauty blender. It is a very dirty beauty blender, but I use Dr. Bronner soap to clean this thing every day, or at least I did when I was wearing foundation every day. I'm actually on, I think, 5 days now of not wearing foundation. My skin feels great. It doesn't look amazing, but I think it is starting to improve. I did cover up some of my blemishes and some of my scars from previous blemishes, but I seem to not be breaking out as much. That's a little bit of a tangent, but I do love to use Dr. Bronner's soap to clean the Beauty Blender. The soap works so well that with a Beauty Blender that is fresh out of the package, the pink ones especially, when you wash the Beauty Blender with the Dr. Bronner soap for the very first time, you'll see a lot of the dyes actually coming out of the Beauty Blender. So I find that really interesting. The next thing I love about Dr. Bronner soap is that it is amazing to clean this. This is a dry brush. This is something that I use to give myself an all-over scrub before popping into the shower. This is supposed to help stimulate your lymphatic system, and I just really like the way it feels now. At the beginning, I found it a bit prickly and I found it hurt a little bit, but now that I'm used to it, it feels really good, almost like a nice good scratch or a nice like massage. It feels amazing. So I love this thing, but of course you are rubbing it on your skin, so it is important to wash it every once in a while. I don't wash it too often actually. I tend to forget. What I basically do to wash this is I just take a bit of Dr. Bronner soap, again that same dilution from my foaming hand wash pumps, and I put maybe like 2-3 pumps on each side of the dry brush. Not getting it too deep in the bristles, but just trying to rub the entire surface with my hands. And then what I'll do is I'll just take some water from the tap, lukewarm water, and just splash it to get the suds out. I'm not running this under the water because I don't want it to get completely saturated. I think I'm going to do another video on dry brushing altogether because I don't want this video to become too long and I sense I'm going off on a tangent. So suffice it to say, I use Dr. Bronner soap to clean my dry brush and it works great. I've been washing my cans with the soap before opening them or before drinking from them or pouring from them. Before I would just kind of like rinse them off, but I've had a few cans lately that have been like a little bit on the dirtier side. So I started basically just using like half a pump of soap on the top of the can, working it into the top of the can and around the lip, and then rinsing that off. So that gives me a little more assurance that the can is clean and I'm not inadvertently eating anything that's sitting on the surface. This can, for example, of instant green curry has a lot of like little fibers and little bits on it, so you just want to make sure that stuff isn't going into your food. Same thing with pop cans. What I like to do is again just take a half pump of soap on the top, work it into like the lip, into this little crevice that goes around the top of the can. Any part that your mouth would touch, or if you're pouring, would be like in the stream of the liquid coming out. More recently, I've been using Dr. Bronner soap, again that same dilution, to clean fruits and some vegetables. So I love it to clean any fruits like this. This is a grapefruit, oranges, lemons, limes. Even though you're not eating the peel, you are cutting through it, which means that anything sitting on the surface may be dragged into the fruit when you do the cut. And as well, if you're using your hands to peel and then using your hands to eat. I love, love, love using Dr. Bronner soap to clean apples. Again, I use the same dilution. I just use a little bit, like half a pump. I just go ahead and rub the surface of the fruit, making sure I wash off all of the soap before I cut into it or before I bite into it. Those are the main things that I use Dr. Bronner soap for. I also use it for like little tidying things here and there. So for example, if my sink is dirty but I'm not doing like a full bathroom or kitchen cleanse, I'll just pump a little bit of soap into the sink and I'll take a brush and just clean that up quickly. Sometimes I'll use it for countertops. I'll just put a pump on the countertop, just use a rag and wipe that up just for a very quick clean. The other thing I find Dr. Bronner soap amazing for is to clean jewelry. I don't clean my jewelry very often, but sometimes I do like to give my ring or my necklace or whatnot like a quick cleanse. What I'll do is, again, I'll just pump a little bit of that Dr. Bronner soap in that same dilution, that same hand soap pump, I'll just pump a little bit onto the piece of jewelry. I'll take a soft bristled toothbrush and just go ahead and work that into the jewelry, and it becomes like super shiny and beautiful again. I've also been using it lately if I just have like a couple of dishes or a couple of glasses to clean. Because we store dish soap under the sink now to get it out of the way, a la Marie Kondo, I like to use Dr. Bronner soap in a pinch if I don't want to like bend down to get the dish soap. This brings me to things that I've used Dr. Bronner soap for that I don't really do on a regular basis. So these are things that I've tried, but they just haven't really worked their way into my daily routine. The first thing I want to talk about, and you may be wondering why I don't use the soap to clean all of my dishes, because I talked about using it in a pinch to clean one or two. Well, because my water is a little bit on the harder side, the soap foams up really nicely, but the suds also go away really quickly, which I talked about earlier. I find that when I use Dr. Bronner soap to clean dishes, I have to use a lot of it because I have to keep pumping more and more and more soap to clean like a sink full of dirty dishes. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just use a regular dish soap because the suds for that formulation of dish soap that I'm using last a whole lot longer. I've also used Dr. Bronner soap as face wash. I'm okay about it, but I prefer cleansing oil. I also have used it for laundry in a pinch. I'm not sure why I don't do that more regularly. I may look into that a little bit more. I think I'm just uncomfortable with the dilution. I don't know it off the top of my head, and it's a bit too much hassle for me to look it up every time. I may try to pick that up again down the road. I've also used it only once to brush my teeth. This was at the height of my Dr. Bronner's craze when I was looking for all these different uses for it, and I was hoping to replace pretty much all of my products with it. I did try brushing my teeth once with it and I didn't like it. It just, the taste, it tastes like soap. The last thing I used it for very recently, and the reason I put it in this category is because I only tried it once, was I used it to clean my spider plants because they had aphids on them. So I took a little bit of the Dr. Bronner soap, I took a Q-tip and just dipped it into the foamy stuff that comes out of the soap pump, and I used it just to wipe the leaves and get the aphids off of my plant. There are two things that I do want to try still with Dr. Bronner soap. There probably will be more if you guys leave your comments down below on how you use this product, but I want to use it to wash Lulu, our dog, and I also want to use it to wash my hair. For some reason, I've never tried using it to wash my hair, and I'd like to do that very, very soon. That is basically it for my video on Dr. Bronner soap. It went on a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I will put some timestamps down below. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you use Dr. Bronner soap and what you use it for. If there's something I should try using it for, I would love to hear about it. Thank you so much for your patience with this video. I know I talked about filming this ages ago, and I'm so glad I finally did it. Thank you again for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I will see you very soon in another video. Until then, please take care and bye for now.